On behalf of the Professional Baseball Strength and Conditioning Coaches Society, I'd like to welcome you to the PBSCCS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Messina.
All right, everybody. Today I'm with Michael Sadler of the Seattle Mariners organization. Michael, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate your time. Tell the listeners about yourself, if you would, please.
Yeah, my name's Michael Sadler. I was born and raised in South Dakota. I graduated college from a small university there, Mount Marty University. After I graduated college, played 4 years of baseball there. I was looking for a job, and fortunately got a job with the Seattle Mariners. I've been here for 5 years now. Absolutely love it. The organization is absolutely wonderful. Really family orientated, and they really make you feel at home. And I couldn't be more blessed. I love every day of my job, and it's been a true blessing for me.
So right out of college, you were into pro ball, huh?
Yep. I did some really good internships kind of in college there that kind of led me to getting a job in pro ball. I went to the University of South Carolina, did an internship there during the summertime. Worked with different sports along the way. And then I was able to do an internship at Cressy Sports Performance in Jupiter, Florida, which really helped me in that aspect. Made a lot of connections, learned a lot from those guys down there. And it was a really good atmosphere for me. And I kind of fell in love with baseball there. Already was in love with baseball, but teaching and actually learning more specifics around strength and conditioning and how that relates to baseball was pretty huge for me. So that kind of what led me to wanting to get into pro ball.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was the same. I played college ball, and I had always played growing up. And once I found out that training can actually make you a better player, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I want to do. Because I was good, but I wasn't great. And I always loved the training, but I was always the bodybuilder type, and then somebody introduced me to, hey, actually, if you train like this, you probably get better. And I was like, you can do that? And they're like, yeah, of course. And then that kind of re-solidified my quest in this game, so to speak. So I can definitely relate. Talk to me about your best professional baseball story so far, whether one that made you laugh or one you're really proud of. Just what memory sticks out the most so far in your career?
So it was my very first year in 2018. Ichiro Suzuki was still playing with us, and he was sitting out on the turf area, and he was with his interpreter. And I was like, do I go up? Do I say something to him? I kind of got enough guts to go up there and talk to him. So I was like, hey, Ichiro, my name's Michael Sadler. One of the coaches here. Feel free if you need any help. I'm around, whatnot. I can help you. And he looked at me and he asked, how old are you? And I said, I'm 23. And he just started laughing for 30, 45 seconds. And I was just standing there and what do I do now? And he just kept laughing. And then all of a sudden he was just like, you look like little boy. And I was like, great. And he was like, no, well, pleased to meet you. Thank you. I'll definitely let you know if I need help. So kind of a little funny story there, but that's how I first met Ichiro.
And what level were you at the time?
I was in low A ball, but I was still around the major league team, helping them out if they needed anything. But yeah, it was probably the first time he's seen me, and then for someone like me, first year in the organization, to come up to him like that. But I had to make a story about it.
There's a lesson in that, though, and it's something that we're interviewing a lot of candidates now for some new positions in our org. And one of the things I always tell them is don't take anything personal, right? Guys are going to find whatever you might be insecure about or a weakness or whatever, and just instantly throw it in your face. And either you're going to crumble and be and they're totally going to just pick at that scab all the time. Or if you just let it slide, they're all right, this guy's cool. And it sounds like Ichiro's kind of testing you, and you're okay, man, if I can help you, whatever, I work here. And then he's all right, this guy's cool. Yeah, nice to meet you. So there's definitely a lesson in that for young coaches, for sure.
Most definitely.
So you were named the minor league strength and conditioning coach of the AA Central League. First and foremost, congrats. I've had a ton of coaches on now that have won the award, and I say it every time, but it's peer voted. And so obviously you're doing something right that your peers take notice of and think very highly of you. So I want to know what it is that made you successful this season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't speak for the other coaches, but if I was going to speak for them personally and honestly, I'd say my excitement level and just my energy for the game. Every single player that I've had can probably tell you my love for the game and my passion to make them better. I'm always doing whatever I can do to help them in their career, whether that be staying extra for them or even just helping other staff members. Like I'll go out and I'll shake fly balls during BP. Personally, I love to do that, but the players love that because then they don't have to go shake as much either. I throw batting practice whenever I can, so I'm helping the hitting coach there, and guys love it. They appreciate it. They're always saying, "Hey, thank you, Mikey. Appreciate you." Like I just they see me come to work every single day, and they see what level I bring, and they just feed off that. They feed off that energy, and it really makes for a great year and a fun year. I'd say most importantly, I bring that positive, fun energy to the team, and the other coaches I think saw that this year, and it was really cool to be recognized for that. So I'm very appreciative of it.
I would say probably your coaching staff is appreciative too of like, hey, I need a blow today. Like, can you throw BP? And like, yeah, sure, I'll hop in there.
Most definitely. They love that, especially when we were in Arkansas with like 100% humidity. They needed a couple days off, but I was ready to go. Like I was a young buck on the team, so I'm down to do anything.
It's good to bring that young energy around. Sometimes the the coaches
Mhm.
in the clubhouse definitely need it, and that's awesome that you're able to hop in and just kind of help out wherever needed. And then now, so this coming season, you're going to be making another jump here. So talk to me about like what you learned this year that you think is going to help you be successful in this upcoming 2022 season.
I think one thing that really helped me is just I continued to like get better and to grow and like be adaptable. I always reached out to the other coach, asked them if like they needed anything while they were at our facility, or I'd reach out to them when we went to their facility. And just I made that connection, and I learned a lot from those coaches just through like simple conversations. Like we'd bring stuff up, hey, what are you doing? Or like, how do you guys work with this, or like what would you do like with this player if he's feeling this, like just a simple conversation like that can lead to a whole nother different avenue, and you can learn so much. So that's probably one of my biggest things is don't be afraid to ask questions or go talk to someone. Like for me it really helped me this year, and it made connections that will last a lifetime. So
Yeah, I have tons of friends from minor league situation where it was literally we were just kind of grinding it out in the same vicinity, right? It's like they came to our place and like you go over and you chat, and then next thing you know, like you go out to dinner or you're going out or whatever, and it's like, oh, so how you doing this? And then before you know it, it's
Mhm.
like 2 hours in, and you're like,
Yeah.
damn, I could talk to this guy forever. Like hey, next time they come into town, you're chatting again, and then in the off season, you're texting each other, and like you said, it's
Mhm.
lifelong friendships that kind of come along the way. So I would agree with you, especially in the minor league setting. Like don't be afraid to reach out to the other coaches because the reality is we're all kind of going through the same things
Exactly.
together.
Yep. Totally agree. 100%.
So we talk about adaptability, we talk about growth and learning. Like, what is it that you think makes a strength and conditioning coach successful? Is it all of those things plus other things? Like, is it just that stuff? Like,
I
what is
mean,
your
most
definition?
definitely. Yeah, those that definitely included. A couple things that really stick out to me. Time management, I think, is super important because, as you know, like the season gets long and grueling, and it's hard to bring that same energy every single day. But as long as you can keep that like things in a row, make sure that you have things scheduled, like, and you have an idea of what's going on, and during the out the day, like if somebody throws you a curveball, you're ready to adapt to it. Like you have a plan. If you have that time management ability, it's going to make things a lot easier through the 6 months that we're playing. So I think that's one huge quality there. Another one, I think just making sure that you build trust with the players. I think that's honestly most important. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the smartest strength coach out there. But one thing I think I do very well, I create buy-in with the players. And if you can create buy-in, that's literally one of the biggest struggles that some people have. And if you can do that, like, it's going to make the season so much better for you. Players are going to trust you. Um, Even if you don't have, like, you might have like the best workout out there, or you might know the body in and out. But if you don't have that buy-in from the players, they're not going to work hard throughout your program throughout the season. So gaining that trust, gaining that relationship is just so important, and creating that is just huge throughout the season, I feel like.
If I can put you on the spot, do you have an example of like how you went about building trust with a player or building buy-in? Because I think every coach listening probably has either somebody that's just not all in on the weight room or just not all in on the person themselves. Like, how do you go about those situations and building that trust, building those relationships so that you do get that buy-in?
So I get a little bit more in depth on like the actual personality of the person. I might figure out what they like to do in their off time, um, just like different nuances about them that most people might not know. Like, say this guy likes to go hunting, I might talk about, hey, would you go hunt this year? Like, where'd you go hunting at? What do you do? Like, how do you scout them? That different type of thing, and like have a full conversation on that. Then they know, like, hey, this guy's really interested, or this guy really cares about me. He's just not all about the weight room or like conditioning and everything. Like, he's actually caring about me, not just about today and what I'm going to do. And I think that's something that I've done, and it's really worked really well for me in the past. It's created great friendships and relationships along the way, not just in my baseball career, but in my personal life as well. Um, so I think that's probably one of the biggest things. If you can get to know the player on a personal level rather than just about um, what we do on an everyday basis at the facility.
Yeah, I think taking a genuine interest in the player and their life and their family, it goes a long way. And I think most of them are receptive to that. I mean, there are some guys that like to keep to themselves and keep their private life, and that's totally fine. But it's just any way that you can go about building that buy-in with players and building those relationships. And there's a ton of time to do it. I mean, we're on the bus during the game, there's downtime in the clubhouse, and like, we're always busy, but there's always time for those conversations too. And then the more that you get to know guys, you can almost tell like when something is off or when they're really excited about something, and you can see like, all right, talk to me. What do we got today? And they're like, dude, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
Like, and then that's when like you've built that relationship. But it takes time and it takes effort. I would agree with you 100% of just going a little bit deeper than always just every conversation being strength and conditioning only.
Yeah.
So, what do you believe in within strength and conditioning that others think you are crazy for believing?
This is a little tough one. But one thing I guess that I take a lot of passion in is the nutrition aspect. I think that's like so important. Like, and a lot of time it gets overlooked. Me personally, I try to tell that all to my players, like even before the season starts, like how much that means about like keeping your weight up, make sure you're eating good quality foods and whatnot. And I help them along the way throughout the season. One thing that I took upon me this past couple seasons actually is make protein shakes after the game for every single player. Usually I do a couple different options for them, like chocolate, banana, peanut butter one, and I'll maybe do like a fruit vanilla one, something like that. So I'll have like 30 cups of protein out for the players before they leave the facility. So I make sure they eat their post game meal, so they're kind of full, but then I make sure that they take a protein shake with them. And that's been huge for the teams that I've had in the past. A lot of guys keep their weight up, keep their strength up. One thing it also limits is them leaving the facility and then going to like Chick-fil-A or like McDonald's, because most of the time that post game meal in the minor leagues doesn't really fill a guy up, so to say, or they're not really interested in that. And so they'll have just a little bit to get something else. But the smoothies really help to maybe like finish off their appetite a little bit, and really helped our teams in the past. And encourage other coaches to try that as well, because really helped our organization, and it actually became an organizational thing this past year.
I've done the same in the minor leagues, and the big one for me is like peanut butter, banana, protein. Like what is your best recipe that like guys just rave about? Do you have one?
Uh, I'd say, okay, ingredients. They like berries, a little bit of honey, granola, peanut butter, put a little bit of creatine in there, and then vanilla protein. I'd say that's pretty popular. Oh, a little bit of spinach. I usually sneak in the greens a little bit without them knowing, but yeah. So I make some pretty good ones. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna toot my horn, but yeah, it's pretty good.
It's funny how they know too. Like if somebody else makes the shake, they're like, this isn't the usual. Like or like,
Mhm.
what did you put in today that's different? Like they know.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost like a game for them, right?
Oh yeah. A
No,
fun fact. So my coordinator came to cover for me last year. We got 4 days off, and uh when I got back, they were like, Mikey, we need your shakes again. Like it wasn't cutting it while you were gone. We need your shakes again. So I knew the guys were caring about it when I came back. So that made me willing to keep doing it, and made me know that they like them and that they care about them, and it made them better.
yeah, and I think, like you said, the nutrition aspect is something that's becoming more important and more relevant in baseball, and like people are taking more notice of it, right? I think you talk to old strength coaches, and like back in the day, it was like soup and bread, or like PB&J only, and now like you get catered meals in and things like that. But it's still tough in the minor leagues. Just some of the cities, the options aren't always great. Sometimes the budget doesn't stretch far enough, and so what you find, like you said, is guys may go out after the game and get a pizza or get McDonald's or get Taco Bell. And like if you can find other ways to keep them away from that and get them something a little healthier, and sometimes it's sneaking spinach into the shake and they don't even know, right? It's like I think that goes a long way, especially with the minor leagues, with all the extra difficulties that are added with those cities and the budgets and things like that.
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
Do you have advice for others in the field, maybe young coaches looking to get in, or just older coaches that just want to stay on top of things? Just any advice you have for us?
Um, Probably biggest one is just don't underestimate the power of like communication and that relationship building. I think that's been so big for me as a coach this past 5 years. Um, like not knowing everything in this field because it's always expanding, it's always growing. Like it's so important to build those relationships and create that buy-in. Like I can't stress how important that is. Um, Trying to just get the most out of your players, gain that trust, gain that confidence. That's so important, and it has led me to a great 5 years with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, too, in baseball is the communication goes a lot farther than just players, right? Like the staff is so important to communicate with just on a day-to-day for your scheduling needs. And you have communication with your coordinator and your communication with your athletic trainer and the front office. And just, I think the people that stick around and really find like their niche in pro ball are just able to communicate really well. They can get in front of a group and talk. They can talk one-on-one with people, and they're just not afraid to make known what they want to make known, but they also, like you said, can pick and choose, like, oh, let's talk about this today to get this buy-in and things like that. So I agree 100%. I think that communication piece is huge.
Yeah.
So how about continuing ed resources for you? Where are you going to stay on top of things? Are you reading books, attending seminars, listening to podcasts? Like, where are you going to stay on top of stuff?
Yeah, I've been reading some books. A couple that I wrote down that might be of interest to some coaches out there. The Champion's Mind by Jim Afternow. Really good book. A lot about more of the mental side of training and what he's done over the years. Really cool aspect. Really works about like how to get in the zone when you need it. Really liked it. Just kind of the ins and outs of how you think when you're training or preparing for a game. Really cool book. One seminar that I thought was really cool that I did this past year was by John Rusin, PPSC. And it was more like of a return to play type aspect seminar. So it worked on like optimizing performance with like different injuries that might occur. It was only a two day course, 8 hours a day, I believe. So Me and my brother actually did it together, so it was kind of nice to do something with him. But really cool course, a lot of information. Definitely look forward, definitely encourage other coaches to maybe try that out. He travels all over the country and he's got different coaches that do the class for him as well. And some different podcasts. Michael Boyle does a podcast I listen to, the Strength Coach podcast. Really cool. Just talks about like different forum topics that might come up or different articles. And then usually brings on another strength coach and talks about different experiences that he's had and just gives a little different perspective on things.
Is your brother a strength coach?
Yeah, he's actually an aspiring strength coach. So he's doing an internship in Phoenix, Arizona right now at Spooner Sports. So he's actually in his last semester of college. So he needed to do an internship. So he went down there and he's loving it right now. Only been there 3 weeks now and doesn't know really where he wants to go after that and like what sport, but he loves how much he knows how much I love my job and sees that every day. And he kind of got into it a couple years ago and it's kind of led him to this. And so we'll see what avenue that he goes to.
I was going to say, do you think he's going to get into pro ball? But
I don't know. He's leaning more towards basketball. He really loves basketball. So I think he's kind of going off that direction more so than baseball. And that's fine. Doesn't want to follow in the brother footsteps. I can see why, but I encourage him. Like I always try to teach him whatever I can. And honestly, he teaches me sometimes. So it's really cool. It's a relationship that's kind of grown over the years in that aspect. So it's been fun to be a part of.
Yeah, that's cool. My brother plays college baseball now. He's in junior college and he broke his collarbone, went through the whole rehab thing. And I think that kind of propelled him to want to do like physical therapy as a long-term like career. And so he's like, I think he's 18 now and, just freshman. And so I'm excited for like when he starts growing and like getting into the field a little bit more, being like, hey, let's talk shop, my friend. Like, you interested in pro ball? Like, what do you want to do with this? Like, but he's like just getting into it now. So I don't want to like, I don't want to taint him in any way. I don't want to like bias him towards baseball or not towards, he plays baseball. Yeah. But I don't want to be like, hey, like you have to pursue this. Like maybe he really want basketball or football, who knows? But I think at some point he and I are going to start having those conversations and then it'll be cool. Like you said, I think it'll be cool to have my brother to kind of have those conversations with and be like, all right, buddy, let's see what you got. Like, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. I'm going to test you. And then maybe I'll learn some stuff from him too. So that's cool that you guys have that.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It truly is.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime you can get extra family time is good. And then commonalities amongst brothers is cool.
Yeah.
I like to finish these with a lightning round. So 4 questions, you can answer as long or as short as you want. And then I'll get you out of here. You cool with that?
Perfect.
Cool. So first one, who is your biggest influence in the field of strength and conditioning?
Probably Eric Cressy. When I did that internship in Florida down there, he was pretty huge in what I've become as a coach. Taught me a lot, different life lessons as well, and still keep in contact with him a little bit today with what he's doing as well. So yeah, probably one of the biggest influences been him so far.
The Cressy tree is crazy.
Isn't it though?
It really is. One piece of equipment to train with, what would it be?
Dumbbell. Can do anything with a dumbbell.
Biggest accomplishment professionally and or personally?
Got my master's degree about a year ago. So that's probably been personally, and then professionally, being able to go to AAA this year is going to be really exciting, and really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. That's going to be a good challenge, and that first year in AAA is always something like really kind of shocking. So excited to hear how that goes for you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Last one. Any career other than strength and conditioning, what would you choose?
Chef. I love to cook.
Okay, so what's your best meal? I come over, you're gonna cook dinner for us. What are you cooking?
I make a really good goat cheese lasagna. Something interesting. Let's see, butternut squash soup, probably one of my favorite meals. I make this crazy taco dip with like 7 different layers with chips, and you just dip it right out. I'll give you one more. God, what do I want to do? Twice baked sweet potatoes. Make some mean twice baked sweet potatoes.
Really? That's awesome. I like to cook. My dad is a chef, so like I think by nature I have a little bit of the genes in me. Like I can take, a couple ingredients, like throw them together and just it intuitively like makes sense to me. But like watching an actual chef like put some food together, I'm like, damn, Dad, like you're the best. Like anytime you want to come to Boston and cook for me, like please feel free.
Yeah, no kidding.
Michael, it's been fun talking and getting to know you a little bit. And again, congratulations on the award this year. If the listeners want to get in touch with you, where can we get more? Social media a good place, or is there a better spot?
Yep. I go on Instagram, or I have an Instagram account. It's Michael_Sadler_2. Also got Twitter, MS3180. So those would be two places that would reach me pretty easily. I got LinkedIn as well. So if anybody's on there and want to connect, I'd be more than willing to do that as well. But yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on. We'll be in touch soon. Again, congrats and looking forward to a good year in AAA for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, everybody, that concludes this episode with Michael. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're able to take some of the lessons that he used to make him successful in AA this past season and apply them to your everyday routine with your job to help you find success as well. 3 things that I took from Michael in this episode: do what you can to help your coaching staff when possible. Effective time management will help you to be successful, and work to create deeper, more personal relationships with players to help with buy-in. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll talk to you again on the next one.